Alright, the other day I made a video on my redcat shockwave. I took it back out, still wasn't running correctly. I don't know exactly why. It'll run for a little bit and then it stops. Maybe I overheated it and messed it up. But here's a 2-speed transmission setup that goes to it right here. Here's all the parts. So to put it on the 2-speed transmission, you can buy it off of Wish. I think I just seen it on Amazon the other day. This piece goes on right here, which should already be on there when you get it. This piece right here goes. Next, you're going to have this piece right here, which you'd screw this on, tighten all that down. And then you have this piece right here, which expands out to hit on your the inside of this. That's your clutch right there. That goes on the 2 posts right here. That'll pop onto those 2 posts right there. This is just a rough idea, but I'm just taking stuff off so you can get an idea. Then you'd pop this on, which this should have 2 bearings inside of it. There should be a bearing on this side of it, a bearing on this side of it. Let me just double check. Yep, there's a bearing right there. Oh, almost forgot something. After this is on right here, the white piece goes on all those little slits right there. You'll need one of these U-clips. There's a slot in this right here. As you can see right there, to put that clip on, you put that on. Then you put this piece on right here. And then there's an end screw. I would use some Loctite on that. That's pretty much how you put that on right there. For the 2-speed transmission, which is going to be right here, you can see it's a little bit more work. I mean, there's just 4 screws on the bottom to get that out. You'll have to take those off, the 2 screws out right there to get that plate out and stuff like that. You'll have to take those right there out where your tie rods go into, your drive shafts I should say. Pop those out. There should be one on each side. Just put them back on. I mean, it's probably like about a 30-minute process, but this will kind of give you an idea. But I'm having issues with this motor. I just cannot get it to run. I've tried new glow plugs, I've tried all of that. So I have this HPI motor here that I've had sitting around, been wanting to swap it over. I just set it up on the table one day and put some gas to it and it worked. But I'm running into the problem of, when I get all this stuff off right here, behind here, how this goes on. Because I want to swap this over on the HPI. But you can see that right there, it's kind of round and then it goes flat. But that won't go on to the HPI motor because it doesn't do that. As you can see right here, this one's got little flat spots in it right there. This one doesn't. So I'm going to try to get creative, get my Dremel out and see if I can make it work. We'll find out here in a minute. I was thinking about doing what I was saying before, was trying to flatten that shaft out right there. But then I asked my wife, and I'm glad I did because she pretty much said that's retarded. Why would you mess the shaft up off the motor, which I didn't think about. I was just trying to match this piece. So she advised me to make that hole round in there to a certain point and then try to stick it on there and see if it works. So now I'm going to try to Dremel this out, and we'll see if we can possibly make this fit on there and see if we can get this redcat shockwave moving. I'll have more in a minute. Thank you. So I have taken my Dremel. I threw this on there. This is a Hyper Tough Dremel. I got it at Walmart. It works pretty good for doing RC stuff related. What I did is I hollowed out the hole with that. Kind of just grinded. I didn't want to try to drill it. When you try to drill, you can't really ever go straight. So I think it turned out pretty good. So now that will go right here. And I still have just enough gap for when I tighten it down that it won't be sitting on the actual motor. So we'll see if we can get all the parts on there. And then I'll let you see that in a minute if it goes okay. I tried to fit that on the first time. I got the hole all nicely drilled out. wasn't really fitting, so I had to shave down a little bit right there. You can see it's not the prettiest, but it works. So I got that piece on right here, got this piece on right here, got this screw on. Now I'm going to see if I can get the rest of it on there, and we'll see what happens. Got everything to work. It's going around, no issues. This is spinning good. The bearings are obviously pretty good in there still. Spins pretty good. Actually, probably way too good. But as you can see, that goes on right there. There's a bearing on the top. Like I said, there's going to be a bearing that has to go on the inside of this right here. I got this part off of Wish. I'll put a link if you have a redcat shockwave or anything that's similar to a redcat. I think there's a couple other companies out there that got something pretty close to this, that you can get the 2-speed transmission. So you would need this. Pretty sure it came with every part you needed, and then you would also need to buy the 2-speed transmission, which is right here. Then I will also look that up, and I will have a link for that in the description too. But next I have to move on to getting the motor mounts to work. So I need to get this motor mount off, but to get to that you have to take off this, the muffler. No, I should say the muffler pipe leads to the muffler. And then that's going to be these hexes over here. I hate doing it because usually they always want to strip on me. But we'll do that step next, see if we can get that off, not destroy the seal. Remember, there's a seal inside of here, so when you go to pull it off, be very careful, and then that will allow you to get to those 2 screws down there. So I'm going to attempt to do that next, and we'll see what happens. Moved the 2 screws from that side right there. They're quite long. Those are the 2 screws right there. They screw into this. I guess I was incorrect about being a seal in there. I don't know if whoever had the motor before me, if there was one. It doesn't really look like there's one, so I guess this one doesn't have it. But I know on the one that came off the redcat originally, when I took this off, it did have a seal in it. So I guess on the HPI motor there is no seal. So now I have to attempt to get these screws out right here. And then I also have to do the same thing on the old redcat motor and see if I can get these motor mounts to fit on this motor so I can put it back in the car, start it up, and see if it'll... Alright, so I have one side done. I got these 2 over here, would not come out, they kind of stripped out. So what I did is I cut the tops of them, the heads off of them. What I use is this grinder right here from Walmart. Cut the tops off. It slid right out. Here's where I cut the tops off. Sometimes the only way to get it out when they have those Allen key kinds of set up on there. But it came out. Now I got this muffler off over here so I can get this other one off. As you can see on this one, there is actually a little seal right there. It's kind of broken right there, but I'm going to try my hardest to make sure that I put it back on correctly. Obviously you can see that it looks like it leaks like crazy, so that's a lot of stuff all over there, so I'm assuming that's leaking. Might be one of the problems with that motor, but I'm still going to try to save it just in case if I ever buy another one. I still have parts for it. So I'm going to get that off, put that on here, and then I'm going to put it back on to there, and we'll see if we can start it up. I have the motor mounts on now. I have put the muffler pipe back on. I'm going to put it in the car, see if I can get it in the car, and then once I get it in the car, put a glow plug in there and see if it runs. Alright, I think that went pretty successful. I mean, it kind of gives you a glimpse on how to get your motor out, but I can kind of recap on that. There's 4 screws down there to take the motor off. You'll have to disconnect this. Usually what I do with this is I'll run this hose over to here so when you're moving the car around that the gas doesn't want to leak out. You also have to disconnect this right here. Over on this side, there will be right there where that wire comes through. Right there, that's going to be for your throttle. You have to dislocate that, take the 4 screws out. Other than that, the motor comes off. I hope any part of this is helpful. If there's any questions you have or anything like that, let me know. I'm more than happy to do a video on something. I mean, I can tear apart a whole RC and put it back together if you guys have questions on, like, you know, drive shafts or stuff in the rear ends. Tires taken on and off is pretty easy, like replacing the bearings or, you know, anything like that. Just let me know and I'm more than happy to do a video on it. I'm going to see if I can start it. It's kind of late right now. It's like 7:40, but I'm going to go outside and see if it'll start up. It hasn't. I don't know when the last time this motor's been ran. I bought a Nitro RC off somebody for like 20 bucks. I started it at the table not being on anything, and it started right up and idled. So I'm going to take it outside right now and see if it'll start up. Alright, let's see if it'll start. Well, let's start it up, which is a good start. I heard some kind of rattling in there. I'm not exactly sure what the rattling might be. So tomorrow, when I have a chance, I'll take it out there and have a video of this driving around. Thank you. Like and subscribe.